Hello, and welcome to the prologue for season number 3 of my F122 My Team Career Mode. And, yeah, we're just going to get right to it. Just filling things up here. Just filling out the time here. Filling things up there. Alright. Now, looking at things here, spoiler alert. My plan is to re-sign Nico Hulkenberg. His overall driver rating is 94. Um, Obviously, his awareness is maxed out. His racecraft is getting close to being maxed out. The experience and the pace still could use a little work. And my hope is that by upgrading the personnel, the pace. What was the other one? I'm sorry, I forgot already. Pace can be improved still, and experience. So upgrading those for the suite to suite 3, I think could help Hulkenberg because obviously, I already have the drivers' championship checked off the box, and the next one's obviously the constructors' championship, and obviously, I think Hulkenberg could be a good hand in getting to that point. Just need to get his stats up there, though. So at least going into the contract negotiations, my plan is to re-sign Nico Hulkenberg. Whether that happens or not, we'll find out. So let's go to advance and get this part of it sorted out.
Our new parts have completed without issue. They'll be on the car, ready for the next race weekend.
Alright, so renegotiate with the teammate. We're going to renegotiate with Nico Hulkenberg. See what we can get here. Approach accepted, okay. Low risk, obviously. Contract signed. So we will be keeping Nico Hulkenberg for a second consecutive season. And again, hopefully upgrading the personnel department will help him in terms of our bid for the Constructors' Championship. And obviously you can see there Fernando Alonso retiring from Formula One. I actually forgot to take my traditional, I usually take pictures of the results of the season, so forgive me for about 2 or 3 minutes while I go through here and take a couple snapshots of the season results. and I'll just pop in here to just go over some of the win stats for the season. So I ended up scoring 9 victories, including 5 of the last 7, which really is what catapulted me to the championship in the end. Uh, Max Verstappen ended up with 1, 2, 3 victories on the season, although 2 of them occurred in the first third of the year. Charles Leclerc ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4 victories, so a solid season for Leclerc. Lando Norris came close a couple of times, particularly early in the season, with 2 seconds and a third right in a row there. But he ended up coming up short, didn't get any victories. Sebastian Vettel, his first season with McLaren, did get 2 victories in Bahrain and Hungary. That's all he got. Daniel Ricciardo did get 1 victory in Austin at the U.S. Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton got 1 victory in the Netherlands. Carlos Sainz got 2 victories in Miami and Great Britain. And George Russell did not score any victories. So, be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different winners in season 2 of career mode. So, uh, I'd say a pretty solid balance overall. Wish Norris and Russell would have found the top step of the podium, but just didn't work out for them this year. Another note I'd like to make is that take a look at what I was talking about with improving Hulkenberg through the personnel department. Um, if you take a look at his last couple races in the year, the last 5 races, fifth, sixth, ninth, seventh, and fifth. That's where if that sort of consistency is there the entire way, we could be a real contender for the constructors championship. So my hope is through upgrading the personnel department, we could get Hulkenberg there to where he's on the pace more consistently throughout the year and scoring points more regularly in our car. Looking at our individual season results, and as you can see, it was really varied. We got the top 10 pretty much the whole way through the first third of the season, but it was really varied because, that was still early. That was when we were trying to get our team up the running order, and when the top runners were also very close. And remember that first part of the season, the point lead was very, very close um, between several different drivers. That first part of the season. Uh, but the second half of the season or the second third of the season, where we sort of started to establish ourselves, and then it was really that last third, really after. I guess really at Singapore is when we started to pull away with the championship lead. Because I remember getting that DNF in Monza, and Charles Leclerc got the victory and sort of got close. Then we, started rocking it away at Singapore and Japan with 2 wins, and that sort of sealed the deal for us right there. And there you see our statistics through the first 2 seasons. 1 drivers' championship. Still haven't got the constructors yet. 4 pole positions, 487 points scored, 10 wins, 17 podiums, average finish of 6th, average good start of 9th, nearly 6,000 miles driven, 9 fastest laps, and closing in on 1,800 laps driven. So, let's see here. I'll spend the money now on the personnel upgrade because that's only $6 million. Um, but I usually wait until after the season to sort of do the upgrades to all the departments because we usually get that influx of cash following the season.
You're not currently in a rivalry. Sooner or later, you'll probably be asked by the media who you consider to be your rival. Think carefully who
That
you
really
select,
doesn't
as
matter
while you
right
will receive
now, but
acclaim for
thank you
beating
for
them,
your
you'll
input.
lose acclaim if you fail to do so.
Of course, for the acclaim, important to note that level 25 is when we get to that point where we get our fifth and final sponsor slot. $37 million, $48 million. So as you can see there, lots of money coming in. The next season, obviously, we will want to try to win the Drivers' Championship, but the Constructors' Championship is the primary objective, I think.
There's a lot of cash just sitting on the books, waiting for us to decide what to do with it. I think it's about time we started putting that money to work.
Alright, so for the schedule, I think I mentioned this in a previous video, but what I'm going to do for this one is sort of make Season 3 sort of reflect real life a little bit. Oh, actually. Ooh, I think I might have screwed up here. I think I screwed up the schedule. Yikes. I wanted to go and take out... I wanted to go and take out Monza, not Monza. I wanted to go and take out Spa, put Imola back in, but I messed up. I can't go back now, which is kind of annoying. Not changing anything here, so that's fine. Not changing the livery, I like the livery. Team details. All that's good. I'm totally fine with what's here now. I like my sponsor, I like my engine, I like my teammate, so we'll advance. As reigning champion, you are entitled to use driver number 1 this season. Yes, I will do that. Okay, so I guess I wanted to do a different schedule, but I missed I screwed up on changing it, so which is fine. It just takes out Portugal and China, which is I guess isn't a huge deal. Um, I would have loved to put Portugal back in, but it is what it is. I'll live with it. It's whatever. I'll have to change it again. I'll have to remember to do that. for season 4. Um, so that's just something I'll have to remember to do. Okay, so let's go to personnel. Get the. Now, if I go back to corporate, Hulkenberg's pace is what's needing improvement, and his experience. So we will do that on the personnel side. Now we need upgrades on the aerodynamics to level 3. So we will do the build time. Get that upgraded. Chassis. Get that build time upgraded. And the powertrain. We don't have the funds at the moment to get that any further. That's going to be our focus at the moment. So we are going to do what gets us the most money. We'll do the merchandise sale. And we'll do the driver training camp. The Hulkenberg ready for the season. And then we will go get a bunch of upgrades on the car. So, can't do anything on the chassis yet. Need Spec 3. Can't do anything on the engine yet. So we will do that upgrade and that upgrade, which will both come in after Bahrain. That's a major upgrade and a major upgrade on the Aero. Yeah, so we're sort of stuck right now with that until we can get the Aero and the engine up to level 3. But we will advance. Now, I'll pause and check the settings, 'cause I don't think I changed anything. So assists, that looks all the same at a quick glance. Weather, perfect. Career settings, driver moves on, default, on, default, 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 default. Resource rate for the player increased, resource rate for the AI reduced, cache rate for the player increased, cache rate for the AI default. Fault frequency low, fault types high. That all looks good. Rules and flags on, regular, on, broadcast, and broadcast, okay. Simulation settings, that all looks accurate. Okay, that all looks good. The only thing we have to do is check the silly season. Now, the one thing we do know for sure is that obviously Alpine will be getting a new driver because Fernando Alonso retired. So the question now is who takes that slot. And actually, well, before I do that, let me go into chassis, because I probably got stuff unlocked, and I have. So now I can get some chassis upgrades. I'll go with the front nose cone structure, which will come in after Saudi Arabia. And I think we'll leave it there for now. How much cash do we have? 13 million. Alright, so we think we do have just enough money to go into the power and get that upgrade, which will get us in good position to get the remaining engine upgrades on the car. So if we look at the powertrain currently, it can't really see at this point where we are in the powertrain, but we will once that becomes available to us. So, back to my main point, the final part of this is that we are going to look at the driver, any potential driver moves that occurred. So Lewis Hamilton. So I'm not looking at what's listed on the the driver list here. I'm just looking at the driver's suit on the right, just so that I'm surprised. So Lewis Hamilton stays put, no surprise. Max Verstappen stays put, no surprise. Lando Norris stays put, that's good to see, no surprise. Sebastian Vettel stays put at McLaren. Leclerc stays at Ferrari. Sainz stays at Ferrari. Bottas stays at Alfa Romeo. Daniel Ricciardo stays at McLaren. So a lot of the top teams sticking with what they had. Pierre Gasly still at AlphaTauri. George Russell still at Mercedes. Esteban Ocon still at Alpine. And here's the first move. Mick Schumacher goes to AlphaTauri. Now this is an interesting one. It was rumored, I think it was during the 2022 silly season this past summer. Former or defending Indy 500 champion Marcus Ericsson, former F1 driver, put out his own list of predictions for the season and included Mick Schumacher in his potential list of moves that he thought was going to happen. So it's interesting that that played out in the game here. Kevin Magnussen stays at Haas. Now, Mick Schumacher moving means there's going to be openings at both Haas and Alpine. And Yuki Tsunoda goes to Alpine, which isn't a total surprise on face value, because he did finish pretty well in Season 2. I think it was like 10th or 11th in the standings. So I can't totally kill Alpine for that one. That's not a terrible move to make. Alexander Albon stays at Williams. Lance Stroll, of course, stays at Aston Martin. We have Nico Hulkenberg, obviously. Nick Latifi stays put. Oscar Piastri stays put. And Zhou Guanyu goes from Alfa Romeo to Haas, which means that Christian Lundgaard, who, if you'll recall, was my teammate for the first half of Season 1, has been picked up by Alfa Romeo. So, as a recap, Lundgaard goes to Alfa Romeo. Guan Yu Zhou goes to Haas. Mick Schumacher goes to AlphaTauri. Yuki Tsunoda goes to Alpine. So, not a ton of movement at the top end of the field, but movement in the bottom half of the field. So, yeah, that's pretty much all we have to go over. So, thank you for watching the prologue. Sucks I messed up changing the schedule, but it's okay. It only just took out China, and Portugal. If I check the schedule, because France is on there and Imola's on there, so that's not. I can live with it. It's not a big deal. I could change it to season 4. And actually, what I'm probably gonna do is season 4 is take out Saudi Arabia so that Saudi Arabia and China are the two tracks off the schedule, and then re-add Portugal. Um, so that's probably what I'll end up doing. So that works. Uh, and yeah, thank you for watching the prologue, and I'll see you next time for the first race of season 3. Should be very exciting.